So that was your question. Yeah. You don't see what he was?
That's 2028, I should say. They're currently sophomores, yes. And there are 11 students in the biology class this year. However, 2 of them are currently sick right now. That's Caleb and Cyrus. And so they aren't going to get a chance to present this afternoon, but they have worked on projects, and they've got some pretty interesting projects.
I wanted to see what kind of antibacterial properties that certain like household substances have, like bleach, cayenne pepper, tea tree oil, and garlic. So my hypothesis was that bleach had the greatest of the antibacterial properties over tea tree oil, cayenne pepper, and garlic.
Depending on what kind of antibacterial properties it has. The bleach did the best, and the tea tree oil, and the others had.
Was a little too much water, with a lot of mold. Which is great. And yeah, I was forced to use safety equipment that as well. And here is the graph of the data I collected. I was able to create the graph out of the little data I got. So I graphed out the clarity of the water.
So, this is my board of the projects of the board project, project of the board. As you can see, it's very limited to resources right here. But most of them you'll be seeing in my presentation. So, what would you like to know?
Different colors of light affected natural color.
I'm gonna basically do the presentation here.
So
basically, it was called the Dirty Civil.
So my hypothesis was people identify food more accurately when they have their sense of smell when tasting. And so that's my research. I heard that flavor is not limited to the tongue, taste buds. Instead, flavor is a fusion of taste, smell, sight, and touch. And that means our senses will work together, and they don't work in isolation, but as a team. And so when the nose is blocked, like during cold, most foods seem bland or tasteless because olfactory component is missing, and that's the nose.
They could not see what it was, and then I had to prepare the blindfold and get their information if they were accurate. And then the results were 5 were got correct, and then 7 were incorrect.
I had the alfalfa seeds, which I planted. I planted 2 seeds in each of the holes. I needed the boxes, like I said. I needed water to water my plants. I watered them about every other day with 10 milliliters of water. I used a measuring cup, which I have some pictures later. I used egg cartons to plant my seeds in. And then I used a cup I sprouted the seeds before I planted them. So I filled the cup with water, and then I had the seeds in there for a certain period of time where they sprouted, and then once they sprouted, I planted them in the soil. I needed a spoon to put the soil into the egg cartons, and then I also needed tweezers because of how small the sprouts were. And I used aluminum pans.
Project. I have a list of the materials that I used. I have some bullet points from the research that I took and the references from where I got that from. I have my experimental procedure, which is basically the steps I took to do the experiment that I did and the process. And then I also have my hypothesis, which is basically an educated guess that I formulated after I did my research. And then I have my growth data, and then I have my conclusion. So, do you have questions?
That states a mug, potato mug, papaya mug, and lemon mug.
Than toilets. And I hypothesized that cell phones were more dirty than toilet seats. As I worked, I would see that the 3 toilet seats I tested were dirtier than phones. I used sterile cotton swabs and kept my petri dishes closed to eliminate variables. Like this one, for example, the phone was kept really dirty. And some of them grew a lot, like the toilets grew their mold faster than the phones. The phones grew very slow. And yeah. So.
No, 1 teaspoon, I should have done that, but 1 teaspoon was the highest I went with fertilizer. Everything else was either none or less. Beneficially of radishes.
Of radish? Cool.
And which ones would grow the biggest radish, but I didn't have enough time, so I ended up measuring height instead of the actual radish.
Okay. So that was your hypothesis.
Yeah, that was my hypothesis. That was
Radish growth in a soil with 1 teaspoon per square concentration. Okay, cool. And the results. Okay.
15 days wasn't enough growing time. So,
But within the 15 days, did you see growth?
I
Did you
did.
see progress?
Height-wise.
Height-wise, yeah, because we're measuring height.
Yeah. I was originally going to measure the bulb.
So did you do a separate one with fertilizer and one without?
I had 3 different groups. One with...
My project is about the impact on an exercise wear on hamsters, and I wanted to see if there's a differences, weight gain between hamsters with the wear and hamsters without the wear in the same environment. So this photo shows my cat walking around in the front of the hamster's cage. Of course, I never let my cat in. So my hamsters. So my research question is, does the wear change weight again? And my hypothesis is that with the wear, the hamsters will exercise more and gain less weight.
Chance to present your whole way through? Okay, good. No. So did everybody get a chance to understand what all of the projects were about? No. No. Okay, good. So that's why we're going to listen to their presentations now, and you can go back.
My project was extracting pigments out of leaves, and how I tested this was with coffee filters to see which color made it up the farthest. My hypothesis was that the yellow would make it up the farthest because it would be the smallest. My conclusion was that there was not any yellow in the leaves that I got. So the smallest pigment that I could see was the green chlorophyll. I know it wasn't.
And then I dip them in dirty water.
All right. Let's go.
Kind of flip back.
This right here is the conclusion. The yellow here later.
I kind of
And here's my reason.
so what's the
I use natural ingredients.
Come on, guys.
There you go. Got it. Thank you. Yeah.